Midnight in Johannesburg, South Africa. It is 10 p.m. in Accra. Grateful that you have stayed there to be part of our show. My name is Bright Nanamfo. From now till 10:30, we'll tell you what's happening in Ghana and beyond. Welcome back. This is very important to you. Now, Ghana's housing deficit currently stands at some 1.7 million units and is projected to climb to 2 million by 2018. Government has struggled to deliver the units required. The private sector has also been playing its part in helping bridge the deficit. To help address the shortfall, a housing consultant is proposing government collaborates with the private sector to adopt what he calls the concept of housing associations. My guest is here. Adam Banvim is a housing consultant. Good evening. Grateful for your time. You're proposing housing associations?
Yes.
What is it?
Well, housing associations are like housing companies, which is backed by the government. And the whole idea is to trade affordably in the housing supply sector. And it's very, very important. I know that Ghana, we haven't got that concept. We have some ideas of providing housing affordably, but it's not consistent.
I see.
So we have to adapt what is happening in the United Kingdom, United States, and all the Western countries.
That is housing associations.
Associations. They work with the government, and they are not for profit, because at the end of the day, the government owns the stock. That's the housing portfolio. And then they have the expertise who run it, and that's where the employment comes in. So you kill several birds with one stone. You supply housing, affordably, at each level of, the society, depending on, who they are housing. And then you also, fix the problem of unemployment. Because
a lot more people get job in building the houses.
Oh, yes. You have builders, you got the management team, you got accountants, you got lawyers, you got architects. So employment, and it's ongoing.
I see. Yes. How does it work, the housing associations?
Well, housing association, from this point of if Ghana is going to go into it, you'll need government to inject investment in it.
Right.
That means acquiring properties. But when you hear this, you think that it's going to be building. Not necessarily. It will involve some kind of building, but you acquire properties by buying rundown properties in different areas and bringing it up to standard and building a portfolio and making it ready, for people.
So it doesn't have to be from the scratch.
No.
Government can acquire buildings that have been run down.
Yeah, renovate them up to standards. And that standard means by our standards and by different areas and all that. And, so basically, so what happened is that these housing associations will supply housing to people who are in need. And it mustn't focus on people who are working, because, we all live in a society and government is responsible for our welfare. So it's unfair. I mean, our old system was unfair. It gives a head teacher a property, and the market woman doesn't get the property. But the market woman has housing needs, so they have a pressure to try and build a house, and they can't. And see, when you go into housing association, your infrastructure will develop as well, because there's planning and architectural design, the landscape you want, so people don't have to build anything next to anything. You see, so basically, it will enable you to have a property, decent property, which rent is affordable, to enable you to move on.
So the houses are owned by government?
Yes, obviously, because government is investing, the government is the bigger shareholder.
Right.
100% to start with.
So if I need a house, I don't need to go build one?
No.
Or buy one?
Absolutely no need. You just need to get a tenancy with the housing association. And housing association doesn't have to be one. It can be 200 of them in Accra, you see, and you can have 300 of them in the north. They also have slight competition. So they're developing, acquiring, and developing. So developing doesn't necessarily mean building. It also means acquiring. So, for example, we can even look at the rundown housing stock that we had. Like we used to have, they used to call them a long time ago, cottages.
Right.
Those type of property. We can acquire them, even with tenants in it, develop it to the standards. It's a standard means good doors, good windows, good landscape, even put air conditioning. Air conditioning shouldn't be a luxury, because in the UK, heating is not a luxury.
Right.
If you don't have heating, you freeze. And here, if you don't have air conditioning, and we can build all into the system and still make it affordable. at the end of the day, the government kills several birds with one stone.
Do we have the resources, government? You know what we face here. Can government have that resources to go into this?
I think we have no choice but to do it.
We have to look for the money to do it.
Yes, because if you do, the government does not lose anything, because at the end of the day, the money has tangible assets which belongs to the government, and then it's then creating these opportunities. So the government owns the stock at the end of the day. So if somebody set it up or an organization sets it up, the government can fire everybody, because at the end of the day, the stock is what makes the housing association, not the people, you see. So basically, the government will fail, and also we have corruption problem all across Africa. People are working and they have to build a house, or they have to rent and give deposit. Houses, you don't take deposit, you see. So you'll find that people don't have to do corruption because there's no pressure to build a house or to buy a house. You have a decent house at good locations, and it's also have a mobility system whereby if you're in Tema and you're working in Accra, they can have a property in Accra for you. So somebody else takes that one.
I see. How do you intend to sell this to government? Is it one of the platforms you're using to sell it to government?
Well, yes, it is, certainly. Because I said to myself that Ghana has brought me up, even though I've been in UK over 35 years. And I've been working in a housing association on the housing sector, local authority and housing associations. In UK, we have two sets of housing supply in the social sector. We've got local authority, which is the government, which is what we have in Ghana, like supplying the cottages and all that stuff. But we then have the housing association, which is acting like a company, and with the supply of affordable housing at a rental sort of thing. So basically, we have two systems there. We have local authority and housing association. But I want us to start
the housing association
because I think now the housing association are the ones who are the big players in the housing supply side in terms of affordability.
Okay.
Yes.
Adam, we'll leave it here. I guess this is something that we'll follow up closely.